Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of The Sweet Spot and another edition of our Sweet Spot road trip. We are just right down the road. If you could see the view that I'm looking at right now, the cruise ships coming in, the ocean right here behind us. We are here on the Space Coast. We want to welcome in Jennifer Odom, dual sales manager at the Hyatt Place, Cape Canaveral. Thank you so much for hosting us at your brand new, beautiful property, Jennifer.
Yes, thank you. No, it's a pleasure to have you here. We appreciate the opportunity and just thrilled to share with everyone just what a fabulous property we do have here on the Space Coast in Cape Canaveral.
It's incredible. We're going to talk all about it. But before, we wanted to learn a little bit about you. Share with our Sweet Spot audience your hospitality background and the journey that led you to opening this brand new Hyatt Place.
Absolutely. Love to. So I've actually been here in this area alone for 25 years. I was the typical story of the grandparents were the snowbirds that moved from Indiana, and we followed. I came down one year and was like, why am I going to go back to Indiana when I have all this with the beach and, you know, the launches of the shuttles and so forth. And so that's what drew me here. I ended up moving, and as a young teenager, I had actually worked in a gift shop that was kind of connected between a hotel and a restaurant. And the front desk people would always come over and we would chat while they're getting snacks and stuff. And they're like, oh my gosh, John Glenn was just in our lobby, the famous astronaut, Buzz Aldrin's here. And I'm like, how old do I have to be to come over and work at the desk? And so as soon as I turned 18, that's where you would find me. So I started off my career at the front desk, was at that limited service property, and then found out I had a real passion for it and ended up at a full service property right in Cocoa Beach, just 6 miles from us here, a different a brand that I was with for about 20 years. So just got to experience everything from, you know, starting off front desk to a catering admin to a group coordinator to catering sales manager. I mean, I've worn all the hats.
All of it, yeah.
Yeah, all the way up to ADOS. So, and then super excited, you know, I'd taken a little break, and what was phenomenal is I'd seen the article about the hotel here. And at the time, there was so many different properties that were being built around the area, and just because of all the different markets and the growth. And what I actually found was that article, and I was like, oh, I forgot, like, that's right. Like this property, like I've got to go check it out. And so I came over and I did a tour right when they had the soft opening in February. And as soon as I went up to our rooftop bar, I was like, oh, wow, I could sell this. Like this is my property. So then that is how I came to the Hyatt Place here in Cape Canaveral.
It's so cool that, you know, I think hospitality is one of those industries where it's because we're all travelers, right? We all traveled as young children, maybe with our parents. And then we get to transition into, you know, maybe working the front desk in those entry-level jobs. And then here you are, and you got a great career, and you're decades into a hospitality career that a lot of people enjoy, and you know, get to have an opportunity like this. I mean, we opened your doors February 2025. I'm sure that was a labor of love to see that. You found out about the property, probably a lot of ways that travelers and locals are finding out about the property, opening up a newspaper or seeing an article online and saying, oh, this property's opening up. This is exciting. Talk to us a little bit about the story of the opening and kind of paint a location of where we are, because you are right at the intersection of a lot of cool things.
Oh, absolutely. And thank you. Yeah, we have definitely a unique destination, and location is just stellar.
Yeah.
So for the hotel, to really kind of promote it in the beginning, obviously all social media channels and so forth. One of the other little known facts for our property here too is that one of our owners is a celebrity. So there was a lot of media, you know, are surrounding that. And so just to share, you know, Howie from the Backstreet Boys, he is part owner of the hotel here. So it was great that we had that. So that was going out on like Florida Today and so forth. So really just to kind of, you know, to market that in the Orlando area, and then here in Cocoa Beach, Cape Canaveral. And so it was just kind of what kind of helped to drive things here for the grand opening as well.
And one of the, breathtaking features of this property is the altitude 360 sky bar and observation deck. I mean, right when I walked out, I was like, this is it. You said that this was one of the things that sold you. I can sell this. It's probably a sales manager's dream to see a space like this. Talk to us a little bit about the inspiration and how it's really put you guys on the map as a differentiator in this competitive market we talked about.
No, absolutely. So certainly we are known as a space coast. So just with the space industry, from the days of the shuttle launches to then when it was corporatized, and we now have all these rocket launches that are going off We have obviously the beautiful port with all the cruise ships and the mega cruise ships. So there was definitely an awareness, and everybody kept saying like, hey, we really need a great launch viewing area that we can really take all this in. And so unfortunately with some of the older properties in the area, just with their structures, they could not support like a rooftop. So without basically bulldozing it down and starting over.
Yeah.
And so that being known to OCI Hospitality, it was like, this is what's really going to set us apart. And this is what's really going to put us on the map, like you said. And it has done just that. Once people come up and they see just how beautiful the deck is, we've already had inquiries for hosting launch viewing parties, for the rockets that are going off. And then also, with hosting FAMs and stuff with the travel agents that come in that sell the cruise lines and seeing the mega cruise ships and so forth. So it was just a killer strategy. It needed to be done. And we were the first to do it right here in Cape Canaveral. And definitely we're seeing the benefits of it.
It's incredible. And, that's the cool thing about new builds is there's a lot of intentionality and everything from, an observation deck and sky bar being built, as well as some of the things that we were talking about right behind us with some of the F&B experiences, including the breakfast, where you have multiple entry points and things of that nature, even down to the little details in the rooms that we were touring earlier. Now, you mentioned the space tourism, the travel for cruises. You've been in this market for a minute. You've seen a lot of these travelers come in and out and check into your rooms. What would be one advice that you'd share, a piece of advice that you share with someone looking to visit the Space Coast?
Sure. No, absolutely. So what I would definitely recommend is coming over and staying more than just one night, just because there's just so much that you can see and tap into here that a lot of people don't realize. And even like during stays, like this morning, we had a guest that was due to check out and they wanted to extend their stay because they had found something else that they could go and explore. I definitely would recommend trying to book early, just because we do tend to, like, you're already seeing that demand, even with us being open only 5 months now. We are starting to feel like on the weekends and so forth. So definitely kind of keeping that in the forefront. And then also, when it comes to the rocket launches, a great website to take a look at is spaceflightnow.com, just because we're launching anywhere, it seems like almost 2 rockets a week. So you could just happen to be here and not even realize it, that there's a rocket launch. And so certainly we post that in our lobby to advise our guests, and that way they can enjoy the rooftop and go up and see. But with different variables, like it may be delayed and then going off the next day. Yeah. So again, I would definitely recommend, coming over to our area, staying more than just the one night, and really kind of take in everything that we offer, from the Space Center to Jetty Park for the beaches, to Victory Casino lines that's right here, the famous Cocoa Beaches, Ron John's. I mean, that's just to name a few.
Yeah, I mean, and you were talking about with the cruise travelers of, there's so many things that can happen. And that cruise ship, that massive cruise ship, is not going to wait if there's, a delay in your flight, or, something happens on the highway on your route out here to Cape Canaveral. So getting here early, I think, is a great tip for those travelers, to make sure you have plenty of time. And then you get to stay in a beautiful place like this. Who doesn't love to do that? And get hosted by Jennifer and her amazing team. So with a new build, new hotel, always a challenge to get awareness out there, right? And that's where marketing obviously comes in. How have you been able to, maybe some of the creative ways, you mentioned the ownership, that was very crucial. But how do you build awareness, whether it be kind of traditional legacy, maybe relationships you built, to new innovative ways to try to get the word out there about this property?
No, absolutely. So most definitely social media, all the channels, that's a must. We were very fortunate with the special media that was already surrounding us. And then some of the traditional ways was just making sure that we tapped into our chamber, and making awareness there. They came out for our grand opening. They helped us with the ribbon cutting. They actually had brought in a videographer that had done drone footage for us. So they've got that going on their website, which is amazing. And inviting a lot of our community in, like Space Coast Office of Tourism with coming here, like our city mayor here in Cape Canaveral and so forth. And just kind of trying to partner word of mouth also. One of the other great things is that we own the Country Inn and Suites, which we share a parking lot with them. So as our guests were coming in there, they could see this build. And so word of mouth saying, getting them excited, look at what we're bringing to the area, a brand new Hyatt that's, the only one right here on the strip on A1A. So just certainly with the word of mouth on that, and then also those existing relationships, and just inviting them and saying, hey, this is where I'm at. Would love to see how we could partner. Maybe you have some other opportunities for us that we could try to be a wonderful fit here for you too. So just kind of a lot of different avenues with the strategy and making sure, and just the awareness and educating people that we're here and we're open and we'd love to take care of you.
And you're at the exciting part is you're at the intersection of a lot of different types of travel, like we talked about, right? Like obviously we've really stressed on leisure, but group and business and travel has really picked up around here. I mean, who wouldn't want to be, steps away from the beach and everything that there is to do? So talk to us about maybe that process and what that looks like here as a salesman when you get those inquiries, and the flexibility of this space to be able to host those groups.
No, would love to, and thank you. So most definitely, I mean, we just have such a unique destination that we have all markets that's feeding into us, whether it's the corporate business, the government business. We're blessed to have all 6 branches right here in our area. We've also got the associations that are coming over, the sports market, especially with USSSA that came to the area in 2018. So certainly when you're looking to host something and looking at a hotel, we receive those inquiries, and then really we talk with you and kind of find out truly what your needs are, what's keeping you up at night, what are those 3 hot buttons or those major deciding factors, and making sure that we're a good fit for them. And what's unique for our hotel here is that we do have such flexibility with regards to, it's a 150 room property. We have a meeting space that is perfect for the smaller scale, say 25 people. Or we can do up to theater, just kind of really depending on what that fit is as far as their program and what kind of setup they're looking for. The other part of it is that we do utilize our rooftop for private events. We actually have a customer that is going to launch their consulting firm. And so we're doing an event for her on Monday, and that's exciting just to elevate it, to be on the Space Coast to launch the new, consolidation firm. So yeah.
It's so great.
And then, obviously we're in Florida, so we always have to worry about weather. And we have that backup. And what's really nice is with the flow of our hotel and the design is that we can take some of those larger events of 100, 125 people and actually accommodate them down here. Because the breakfast bar closes in the morning, so that's space that we can utilize. We can obviously utilize this area here too for the placery that is a nice flow. And again, just kind of depending, if it's more of a cocktail reception and so forth. The other, great item is that, again, with that flexibility is that, our sister property, the Country Inn and Suites, she also has, several meeting rooms over there. And we've actually have shared, groups to where we've housed some here. They've done like a little executive meeting here. And then they had more of the conference training right next door because it's literally not even 700 feet to the front door for there.
Right there.
So, I mean, it's just amazing just with how flexible we can be and how we can cater to and take care of the needs of all the markets that are coming into the area.
It's very cool to see. And, again, to have that peace of mind of being like, all right, if this plan A doesn't work, we got plan B and C. And I think also we talked about it, the way that, group travel is trending. You've got your bigger events where you might want everyone involved, but then you want your smaller, more intimate places and meetings and for those to hold. And those might be with your stakeholders, those might be with your leadership team. So be able to have those spaces in the same vicinity is really important to those planners.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about new properties, wave of excitement with local partnerships, I've seen it more and more, trying to infuse the local community into a new property. How is that being done here at the Hyatt Place?
Absolutely. So Hyatt's huge on that with local flavors. So what we have done is we have partnered with all of our local breweries. To where just actually one of the ones that we utilize out of the 6 is just probably 2 blocks up from us, Curry Brewery. So we make sure that we have their local brews, a Pilsner. We've got the Pineapple Carib that's very popular for them. We also partner
Which they
with...
can enjoy right
absolutely,
behind us.
right behind us here. And then we've also partnered with Oceanside Distillery to where we do their Beach Blonde rum. So those are just to kind of name just a few that we do bring into the area. Obviously, local seafood as well. That we bring in for like our shrimp ceviche that we offer upstairs. So definitely that's huge in supporting our community, huge in supporting our local businesses and bringing in that local flavor.
And the great mural and piece of art right when you walk out on that observation deck. I mean, it's so cool and stunning to see. Local artists you mentioned helped you out with that. Those are the little kind of pieces of flavor that I think, well, first of all, locals enjoy because it makes them feel a little bit more at home. But also, people when they travel, they want to be infused in that community. That they want to feel like they're a part there. They don't want to just be walking into 4 rooms and a bed, right? So it's those typical pieces that help make that a little bit more localized.
Absolutely, helps us to stand out.
Absolutely, yes. So I want to, as we wrap up, we're gonna end with a couple fast, rapid fire questions to get to know you and this new property better. So, you talked about the launches. You have a favorite space launch memory so far?
Ooh, so that's hard because I have a couple.
Sure.
Obviously coming from the Midwest, I did not know what was going on here with being so young. And so I fell asleep and we lived on Cape Canaveral and I woke up to our glass doors just rattling and I get up screaming, earthquake.
Oh no.
And it was actually a shuttle launch that was going off that my mother had forgotten to advise me of. So that was kind of like my first introduction. It was a night launch, so it was beautiful. It lit up the sky. So that's always just such a fond memory that I have.
Sure.
I would say most recently, though, I was very inspired that we had the Inspiration 4 launch that took place in 2021. And what was so special about that, it was just an ordinary crew. That they had Jared Isaacman came in. They had Haley, who was a survivor of cancer that worked for St. Jude. They involved St. Jude with raising funds, and they reached their goal. They actually exceeded it with raising like $240 million for them, or maybe for $240,000. I might be wrong on that one. But just to kind of see that and just kind of where the space tourism and where we're going with it, and that individuals like me and you maybe one day be able to go on a shuttle or a rocket, to outer space or even go to the moon. I mean, it's just phenomenal. It kind of reminds me growing up as a kid, and I'm kind of dating myself here, but like the Jetsons, who would have ever thought about that,
Right.
And it's all kind of coming to fruition, which is just amazing. And I think that's why I love this area so much, just to be involved just in that little aspect, because then it's so cool. And then I still have, all the other markets that I'm just very passionate about. So that was kind of hard. And then of course the other two is the last shuttle launch of the Atlantis. And the Atlantis is now displayed at Kennedy Space Center. Is just breathtaking. And if you've never been, you have to go, because it just makes you feel so proud to be an American and kind of see what we've accomplished.
Yeah, it's so inspiring. And, every single time a launch goes up, it's just so cool to see. And I'm sure to have a view from up there, those night launches. Oh, I mean, you talk about social media content. I'm sure that would make for some great ones. What about your favorite rooftop menu item at Altitude 360?
Oh, okay. So for upstairs, it's more kind of sips and savory bites that we have. So I think one of my favorites is the elote dip, which is like a deconstructed street corn dip with the tahini chips, which is really good. I'm always a fan of charcuterie boards. And then more so, I absolutely love like our space themed drinks. So we have the Rocket Fuel Rum Runner.
Love that.
Dark Matter Espresso Martini, as well. So, just to kind of tie in with the area and stuff. So those are just some of my favorites.
That's so cool. One word that would describe a traveler's experience here at the Hyatt Place, Cape Canaveral.
I would have to say really for here would be elevated.
I like that. It goes right along with that.
Absolutely. Just to elevate the experience, whether you're here on business. I mean, imagine being here on business and just seeing that rocket launch as you're, trying to wrap up your day and check a few emails. Elevated by, the Hyatt brand standards and just the customer service and just really showing that we care about you as an individual so you can be your best. And obviously taking our food and beverage to a new height, that we're elevating that as well, with the rooftop here. So it's definitely elevated.
Very
would
cool.
have to be the word.
And then finally, favorite local partnership, collaboration. You were talking about some events that you guys are doing here too.
Yes, absolutely. Oh my gosh, there's so many. So, obviously we have a lot of not-for-profits in the area and so forth. And one of the really cool things that we get to collaborate on this year is that it's a 10th anniversary of an annual event for the American Cancer Society. They actually host a marathon out at the Space Center where they actually run right there on the launch pad. And so since it's their 10-year celebration, we're working with them and collaborating to where we're going to house registration here with packet pickup. We're doing like a pasta celebration for them. We're going to house the runners, and then that way they get up first thing in the morning and they head out to Kennedy Space Center and so forth. So a great partnership there. Another one is I'm very fond of the cruise business. They have such wonderful people that are business development managers, travel managers, and so forth.
Sure.
So we're actually going to partner in house what's called a familiarization trip, where we bring in some top producing travel agents. And so before a ship inspection, we're actually going to host a breakfast in the morning. So why not a sunrise breakfast? Get up, get to see the sunrise, start your day, enjoy it, and then go over and see these beautiful ships that we have through ship inspections and stuff. And I mean, and there's just so many more too.
Yeah.
So we'll be here forever.
Well, I love those events. I mean, because they're, the events now are getting so curated. They're getting so, and that's where you have a team that works with your event coordinator to like put those little touches to it. I think that's what makes very memorable experiences. And that's what really fuels in hospitality group travel right now. It's like people are done with just the tired, boring event. They want everything curated, everything personalized. And both I think the event coordinators and the sales, the sales and group managers are helping them with that. And it's making for a really, really cool moment in hospitality right now. So
Absolutely.
Well, Jennifer, as we wrap up, thank you again for hosting us here at your incredible property. Right behind us is the lobby. We always like to kind of wrap up the episodes talking about if you could overhear a conversation or what do you want your guests to feel as they check out and they kind of go head on home? What do you want them to feel and say about their experience here?
I think really for us is just that they were really cared for and really, kind of creating again that fond memory, just to take away fond memories with them. I mean, that's really what sets people apart. That's what it's all about, is just kind of creating those memories during our time when you travel, whether it be for, social, like going on a cruise, or you're here for a marathon, or you're here for, a company event, and just knowing that, they had just that experience, again, that was elevated, that really did capture the moment and create that fond memory that they're never going to forget. And just to kind of share, we were watching the rocket launch, and there was a family here, and the kids were young, maybe 6 and 7. They had never seen it. And I just happened to be upstairs trying to take a photo, of the launch.
Yeah.
And I captured this precious moment to where the kids, Dad had one kid on his shoulders and the mom was holding the other kid. And I just happened to have him in one of the photos. And I was like, would you guys like this photo? Like, by chance, I didn't mean to get you in the picture, but I did. I captured that moment. Would you love it? And they were just absolutely thrilled to be able to have that. So again, just kind of taking away just fond memories and knowing that we do truly care about our guests, and obviously our employees as well. But I would love for them to leave with that.
What a special moment to share. Thank you so much again for hosting us here. Would encourage all of our Sweet Spot listeners and audience, come visit Jennifer and her team over here at the Hyatt Place, Cape Canaveral. She'll take great care of you. Check out a rocket launch, go jump on a cruise. So much to do here. Thank you so much again.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
Thank you for listening. We'll talk to you next time on The Sweet Spot.